Hi all, welcome back to the discussion on quantum mechanics. So today we are going to discuss uncertainty principle. So this is one of the popular principle in quantum mechanics, and you might have studied this during your UG level. That is particularly the uncertainty relation between the position and momentum. So which we can write as delta x delta p greater than or equal to h cross by 2. So that is a product of uncertainty in position and momentum cannot be zero. It should be always greater than certain value. It should be always greater than h cross by 2, where h is the Planck's constant or h cross is h by 2 pi. So sometimes we call h cross or some others call it is h bar. Okay, so what it may be, this h bar or h cross is nothing but h by 2 pi. So the product of delta x and delta p must be greater than or equal to h cross by 2. That means it is not possible to have a delta x and delta p zero together. Okay, so if delta x delta p is non-zero, means we cannot find the position and momentum of a system exactly. Okay, so this implies that it is impossible to find the exact position and momentum of a system simultaneously. Okay, so that means okay, sometimes it is possible to find the exact position, but if you once you find the exact position, then the momentum would be completely uncertain. And it is also possible to find the exact momentum, but once you find the momentum, the exact momentum, the position would become the completely uncertain. Okay, now the question is why we are getting such uncertain relation in quantum mechanics, because there is no such uncertainty in classical physics. But why such uncertainty comes in quantum mechanics? So in order to answer this question, we have to go back to our postulate. So according to our postulate, the measurement of any physical quantity is represented by operator. Okay, so in general, we can represent the operator as A. And what is the outcome of measurement? Outcome of measurement is represented by the expectation value of operator in the state of the system. Is the expectation value of operator state of the system. So the expectation value usually we can represent by symbol this angled bracket A. So if the state we are representing as kid psi, then the measurement outcome, the expectation value of operator A would be the inner bracket psi A psi. Okay, now we can define what is uncertainty. Now the uncertainty we can represent as delta A. So by definition, it is square root of the expectation value of square of operator A minus the square of the expectation value of operator A. So how we are getting the here? Because we are just extending your classical uncertainty or the classical RMS value of deviation. So classically, consider x1, x2, etc. up to xn is some data. Then some data points, then the uncertainty or the RMS value of deviation. So it is called the root mean square of deviation. So the root mean square of deviation is defined as delta x square root of mean of square of deviation, and deviation is represented as xi minus x. This should be sum over I equal to 1 to n. The deviation delta I is xi minus the average value of x. So we have to square each deviation and sum it, and thereafter take mean, then square root. So that is what is called the RMS value of deviation. This RMS value of deviation is taken to be the uncertainty. Okay, so this RMS value of deviation actually gives the spread, the measure of the spread in values. Now, how much the x value is spreaded. That is what is gives this RMS value of deviation. So if all x's are same, if all measurements are same, suppose in a class all students scored the same mark, then there is no deviation. The deviation would be 0 and RMS value of deviation would be 0. Okay, but if there is a spread in marks, so some scored 100%, some scored 10%, some scored 50%, then there will be a spread in data. Then we'll get the RMS value for deviation. Okay, and it is possible to show that from here itself, this delta x. Okay, I can show it in next line. The delta x is square root of sum over I equal to 1 to n. They will give the xi square minus 2 average x xi plus average x square all divided by n. Now this, if you sum it, then take the average, finally what will you get is it will be equal to the average of x square minus average x square. So this would be the spread in the data points of x. This is the statistical theory. So from the statistics we get this expression. The same expression we have used for the uncertainty of an operator or the uncertainty of a measurement in quantum mechanics. Okay, so this is a definition. Now we know that sometimes the uncertainty will become 0. So when the uncertainty will be 0 in quantum mechanics, so consider a case 1. Okay, let ket phi I are the eigenvectors of operator A, such that operator A acting on ket phi I gives some eigenvalue AI, then ket phi I. So here I run from 1 to etc. up to n, where n is the dimension of Hilbert space. So A acting on ket phi I gives AI ket phi I, and we also assumes that this phi are orthonormal. So phi I phi j's are orthonormal. So this the inner product phi I phi j would give delta ij. So when I equal to j, you will get 1, or it would be 0. So this is equal to 1 when I equal to j. It is 0 otherwise. Okay, now suppose the state of the system is in the one of the eigenstate of the operator, then what would happen? Okay, so our k is some number between 1 to n. Okay, suppose the state of the system is phi k. Then what would be the expectation value of operator A? Expectation value of operator A by definition is psi A psi. So this would become phi k A phi k. And as a result, you will get AK, where AK is the eigenvalue of operator A corresponding to that eigenvector. So if the system is in one of the eigenstate of the operator, then every time if you measure operator A, you will get the same eigenvalue. And therefore, the expectation value of operator A would be AK only, because A acting on phi k gives AK phi k. So all the time you will get the same eigenvalue as a result. Okay, so according to our postulate, the outcome of individual measurement is a corresponding eigenvalue. So if the state itself is in the one of the eigenvector, then we'll always will get the same eigenvalue as a result. So therefore, the expectation value of operator A would give AK, and therefore there is no spread in the eigenvalues. Okay, so if you take the system, okay, according to our postulate, the expectation value is actually an ensemble average. So you have to make the many copies of the same system, the copy 1, copy 2, copy 3, and all the copies are in the same state. All the copies of the system are in the state phi k. Now, once you measure operator A, the result would be AK. You know, if you measure operator A, the result would be AK. We'll get the same eigenvalue in every copies. So there is no spread in the result, and the expectation value would be the same. So if the expectation value is same, then again, if you measure the square of the operator A, that will also give AK square, and the uncertainty in operator A would be 0. So if the system is in the one of the eigenstate, then the expectation value of the operator would be its eigenvalue, corresponding eigenvalue, and the uncertainty would be 0, because there is no spread of the measurement. So it is like all the students are getting the same marks in the class. Now consider case 2. So case 2 is suppose the state of the system is the superposition of the eigenstate C1 phi 1 plus C2 phi 2. Then if you measure A on psi, then there are different possibilities. So either you will get A1 or you will get A2. So this is what is called the collapse of the wave vector. Once you act the operator on the state, then the system will collapse to its one of the eigenstate. So here the ket psi is in the superposition of phi 1 and phi 2, or phi 1 and phi 2 are the eigenstate of the operator A. So that hence, since you once you operated operator A on psi, either it will collapse to ket phi 1 or it will collapse to ket phi 2. If it is collapsing to ket phi 1, you will get the eigenvalue A1. If it is collapsing to ket phi 2, you will get the eigenvalue A2. So that means if you make the copies of the system, if you make a copies of the system, the same state psi, okay, the psi means C1 phi 1 plus C2 phi 2. So all are the same state, and you are measuring the operator A in every system. Okay, so all these are copies. Okay, so then you may get A1 in the first case, and you may get A2 in the second case. You may get A1 again in the third case. You may get A1 again in the fourth case. Okay, so at different copies, you may get different results. Okay, so then you can only say the probability of each outcome. So that can be calculated. What would be the probability of each outcome? So if you measure the expectation value of operator A, So it would be psi a psi, and psi a psi, if you calculated it, it would be mod c1 square a1 plus mod c2 square a2. And what would be mod c1 square? So how we are getting mod c1 square? Because this psi is nothing but phi1 a1 star, phi2 a2 star, operator a1 phi1 plus a2 phi2. Okay, the operator a acting on phi1 would give sorry, this is not a1, it should be c1 star, c2 star. This is c1 and c2. Okay, so a acting on phi1 would give a1 phi1, then ket phi1 bra phi1 would become 1, so that will give mod c1 square a1 plus mod c2 square a2. So this expectation value of operator a, the expectation value is looks like the mean value of the operator. So what it means is mod c1 square is actually gives a probability to find the a1, or the mod c1 square is a probability to collapse the wave vector psi to get phi1, and mod c2 square is a probability to collapse psi to get phi2. And correspondingly, we will get the eigenvalue a1. Here you will get the eigenvalue a2. So if the state is in the superposition of the eigenvectors of the operator, so if it is a superposition of two eigenvectors, phi1 and phi2, then the result, the outcome of the measurement is spread. So it can have either a1 or it can have with the value a2. So the values of the individual measurement may differ. It may become a1 or it may become a2. So there is a spread. So if there is a spread, obviously there will be uncertainty. Okay, so here in this case, you can find the uncertainty delta A, and delta A is obviously is square root of A square minus average A square, and you can calculate it. So this average A, the mean value of operator A, or the expectation value of operator A is already found, which is mod C1 square A1 plus mod C2 square A2. So similarly, we can find the expectation value of A square. And if you find the expectation value of A square, would be mod C1 square A1 square plus mod C2 square A2 square. Now, the expectation value of A square minus the square of expectation value of A would be different, and you'll get a non-zero value for delta A. So delta A would be non-zero for the state psi. Okay, so here I have just discussed that in quantum mechanics also it is possible to find the exact value of an operator. The exact value is possible only if the system lies in the one of the eigenstate of the operator. Suppose if you want to find the position, and if the system is already in the one of the eigenstate of the position operator, then we'll get an exact position. The uncertainty in position would be 0. So similarly, if you want to measure momentum, and suppose if the system is already in one of the eigenstate of the momentum, then you will get the exact value for the momentum, and there will not be any uncertainty. Okay, so you'll get zero uncertainty, then zero uncertainty, and you will get the exact value of an operator once if the system is in one of the eigenstate. Okay, so what is the take away point? So the main point we have to make is, so if the system is in one of the eigenstate of an operator, then then there will not be any uncertainty. For measurement of that operator. Okay, so this you can keep in your mind. So it is possible to find the exact value of any measurement if it is in the one of the eigenstate of that operator. Okay, so then how this uncertainty comes, that uncertainty principle comes. So okay, that we can discuss. So the uncertainty principle usually arises when you are measuring two operators. Okay, so that is suppose, so that is our case 3. Suppose we are measuring two operator A and B. Two operator A and B. Okay, now let us assume A, B are not commuting. The commutator A, B is 0. Then the A and B cannot have the same set of eigenvectors. So that implies A and B cannot have the same eigenvectors. That is, the eigenvectors of A and eigenvectors of B would be different. So then, okay, actually earlier we have represented phi I is the eigenvectors of operator A. Then A acting on phi I can write as AI get phi I. Okay, so then let us assume the initial state of the system is in one of the eigenstate of operator A, phi k. Then the expectation value of operator A would be inner product phi k, A phi k, and this would be AK. And similarly, the uncertainty in delta A would be 0. Now, what about B? Okay, now what would be the B acting on ket psi? That would be different because this ket psi is in one of the eigenstate of the operator A. Now, that is not the eigenstate of operator B. So operator B will have some other set of eigenvectors. Okay, let us denote the operator B as the eigenvector chi I. That would be equal to the B acting on operator B acting on chi I gives small b I chi I. So hence this can be written as operator B. This phi k has to be expanded in terms of chi i's. So we can expand it as C1 chi 1 plus C2 chi 2 plus etc. up to C n chi n. Okay, let us suppose the dimension of Hilbert space is capital N. Okay, this phi k is no longer the eigenvectors of operator B because A and B do not commute. So therefore, phi k has to be expanded in terms of the eigenvectors of chi 1. And since it is the superposition of the eigenvectors of the operator B, the delta B cannot be 0. And delta B would be completely uncertain. Okay, we can show that this is the product of delta A, delta B would be it should be some positive value. It should be non-zero. Okay, so what I have shown here is if the operator A and B do not commute, then it is impossible to have both delta A, delta B 0 together. If delta A is 0, then delta B cannot be 0. And similarly, if delta B is 0, then delta A cannot be 0. The main thing is if A and B do not commute, then A and B cannot have the same eigenvectors. And if it cannot have the same eigenvectors, then we cannot exactly measure the both operators exactly. Okay, just look back here. If the state is in one of the eigenstate, then the result of each measurement is exact and there is no uncertainty. But however, if the state is in a superposition of the eigenstate, then the result of individual measurement would be is a spread of values, and obviously and there would be an uncertainty. Delta A cannot be 0. Okay, so that we have extended here. So if you are measuring two operators together, and if their operator do not commutes, then obviously it is not possible to measure both operators with complete accuracy. So you can measure one of it. So you can exactly measure A, but then you cannot measure B. There will be uncertainty in B. How we can measure the exact value of A? That is possible if the system is in one of the eigenstate of operator A. Then it will not be in the eigenstate of operator B, because A and B do not possess the same eigenvectors if they are not commuting. Now, if it commutes, then what happens? Is 4. Okay, suppose the A and B commute, then there is no issue. If A and B commutes, then they possess the same set of eigenvectors. It is A acting on get phi I. I can write as AI phi I, and B acting on get phi I. I can write BI phi I. So they will have the same eigenvectors, but eigenvalues may differ. Okay, then if the system is in the one of the eigenstate phi k, then the average value, the expectation value of operator A would be always AK. That would be phi k, A phi k. It will be exactly AK. And the expectation value of operator B would be phi k, B phi k, and that would be BK. So that means the uncertainty in delta A would be 0. The uncertainty in delta B would be 0. So if A and B commutes, then there is no issue. Then it is possible to find the exact value of operator, the exact value of the measurement A and B simultaneously, provided if the system is in one of the eigenstate. Okay, again, if even though if AB is 0, if psi is the superposition of C1 phi 1 plus C2 phi 2 plus C3 phi 3, etc., then if this is a state, if the state is a superposition of the eigenstate, then delta A cannot be 0 and delta B cannot be 0. It is possible. Okay, so a delta A and delta B would be 0 if the system is in one of the eigenstate. Otherwise, it would be non-zero. Okay, so I think this is already given a complete picture about the uncertainty. That is how the uncertainty connected to our the postulates of quantum mechanics. So this gives the idea, and you can show that the uncertainty, the product of uncertainty delta A delta B would be always greater than or equal to 1 upon 2i, the expectation value of the commutator AB, the state psi. So if you measure delta A and delta B in the same state psi, it would be always greater than or equal to 1 by 2i, the expectation value of the commutator AB in the state psi. So this is what is called the general uncertainty relation. Okay, so we can stop our discussion here. So in the next class, I will try to derive this expression, the general uncertainty relation. Now this relation is valid for all the operators A and B. Now if you substitute A to X and B to momentum, we'll get back our the earlier expression, because delta X delta P is greater than or equal to 1 by 2I, the expectation value of the commutator XP in the some state psi. Okay. So it is delta X delta P greater than or equal to, no, there is no need to write this index always. It is already implied. So it is 1 by 2I. The expectation value means ket psi, bra psi, ket psi. What is commutator XP? The commutator XP is nothing but IH cross. And since X is normalized, the inner product XX would become 1. And what will you get? Delta X delta P greater than or equal to 1 by 2I. IH cross inner product size I would be 1. So I would cancel. And finally, you will get delta X delta P greater than or equal to H cross by 2. So this is the famous uncertainty principle, the position momentum uncertainty principle. Okay, but what we have written here is a general uncertainty principle. So this is valid for all operators. So if you take a pair of two operators A and B, this is a general uncertainty principle. So again, not that the uncertainty would be there, the product of uncertainty would be non-zero only if their commutator, if they are not commuting. Okay, so if the commutator AB is non-zero, then only there will be any uncertainty relation. Otherwise, delta B would be always 0 if it commutes. Okay, now in the case of position momentum, we know that they are not commuting. The commutator XP is IH cross, and hence we get this expression. Okay, so we can stop it here. So in the next class, we'll try to derive this general uncertainty principle. So thanks for watching this video. See you in the next class.